For this video, we're going to look at the empty hand backhand gunting from Panantukan and Silat. Gunting is a term that usually implies a scissoring motion of some kind. And in this backhand scenario, it's a little bit different, so that the limbs are moving on a 1.5 beat or a 1 beat together towards a single objective, towards a single line and on a single line like this. It's great to work this with weaponry. We're going to do this empty hand. This is via the dirty boxing, right? So Panantukan. In our dirty boxing classes here at MKG Detroit, we combine Panantukan and Silat and just regular boxing along the way. You have the opportunity to see this through several different perspectives. For the sake of this video, like in class, I mean, we did a whole bunch of variations. We're going to pick one, do it on the body, and then do a similar version on the focus mitts. Okay, so I'm going to have Keith feed a jab and a cross. Now you could do these against any punches. Typically we set up with the jab just so we get the game started here. And we're going to go a straight rear hand. I also suggest trying this with a rear hook or a wide right in some way, overhand or whatever. It's typically a little almost easier as a beginner against the wide punch just because you've got more space. When you've got more space, more distance, you have the luxury of more time. So another way to get that time is to just slow down and take your time. When we target the rear arm like this, we're looking to attack the belly of the muscle here, right in the middle of the bicep. You could be thinking funny bone. You could be thinking somewhere here in the junction of the pec and the inside of the shoulder like this. But a lot of times you're also going to check this hand. If he's thrown this jab and retracts, I might want to chase it a little bit to brace so that I can work on whatever my quick strategy is without having to worry quite as much about this hand flying. Or at least if it does punch, I'm aware of it, right? I've got some messaging center happening. So you'll see that often as well where we check here. If that hand is down, that check to that direction might be a slap to the face or a backhand punch to the face, or it could graze and still wind up on the arm. All of those are worth trying, but we'll isolate just hitting the belly of the bicep there. So you're going to catch this one and backhand gunting here. Again, 1, 2. Now the way that I like to do this is when I catch the jab, I'm not catching right in front of me and I'm not catching very far away. I'm just sticking this out a little bit. And that's a really good position to then cross parry from, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, which is different than going 1 and 2. You notice that on the and, that's when I'm getting hit. So I don't want to retract this and do that cross parry or inside parry. I want to just go from one hand to the other, bat, bat. And in that exchange is when that one sneaks in. 1, 2. Note as well that if you have a wide guard, like maybe a tie stance, or if you just like to have this sort of position, when that punch comes, these punches are coming in between my hands. So the backhand gunting won't be an option for me in that scenario. Right? I would have to go here like this, or go timeout and change my position and then time in and hit him. And he's obviously not going to let me do that. So if I have the kind of guard where my hands are lined up on the center in some way, it's easier for me to sneak this in. So if you like a wide guard, then you might need to work on stepping a little bit to affect this, which, by the way, is not a bad idea at all. It's getting you off the line. Or you'll have to choose to try a different position, or maybe it's just a technique that you implement in another way or that you pass on for the time being. So taking this more centerline oriented guard, I'm going to catch this, backhand gunting here, bang, like that. So we use the term rhino or siko or rhino siko. Siko is the term for elbow that you usually hear in arts like Panantukan or even Silat for that matter. And then rhino is just, as the name sounds like it means, is just blasting its way in. Oftentimes you'll see this if he throws a wide punch on the rear end. One is you just go in right away like that. Fantastic. But you can connect dots and still use this. So from the backhand gunting, I'm going to fold as I step my base forward, right? I'm just going to shuffle or at least step the lead foot to gain some ground. 1, 2, and 3. I want to make sure my hands come up to protect myself. I'm going to be inside here. It's awfully easy for him to grab or to hit. So I want to have my hands here so that if he does grab, at least I've got the inside position, which will be a little better for us. Or I can protect myself against any incoming shots here. 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, then hit, hit, hit. Now I could see this as going here and then elbowing because I'm in close. But as we said, you're probably going to create momentum in their body, where now I'm out of elbow range. So it's worth doing this one and then punching, because you're going to have that little bit of extra space you've created. So to add some kind of dirty tricks into this, the way we would often think of Panantukan or dirty boxing being expressed, typically what we do at MKG Detroit is go thumb to the eye like that and anchor. Again, knowing that this elbow is going to create momentum so that we don't have to have this long distance exchange again, or we don't have to chase them down and try to get things done. We've closed the gap. We want to keep that gap closed. So we have 1, 2, 3 and grab like that. Right, this elbow comes in but unhinges from the elbow immediately, so that my elbow is still down against the body. So I've got some control here, and the hand cups on the back of the head. Usually the way that we do this is sunga, which is this spear hand shape to the throat, and then that folds over into the snap elbow. So that becomes 1, 2, 3 and grab, thrust and elbow. 1, 2, 3 and grab, thrust and elbow. This could be palm to the face and elbow, could be punch and elbow, but we've got this sort of sandwich action happening like that. You also will see very common to go here in flight to this anchored position that the thumb rakes the eye on the way. Starting off again with the jab, we catch the jab and he throws the cross. Now to hold this, when he retracts his jab to fire the cross, he's going to allow this to kind of slide down his arm so that it comes to rest here on the bicep like that. So this is going to be pointed down. He wants his shoulder relaxed and elbow down so that the back of his hand is on the arm and the pad, the face of the pad is facing me. This will allow me to actually hit this. So that's 1 and slides into place, 2, like that. Now, what we often will do on the body and on the pads is slap from here. They're really interested in the open hand shots in the Southeast Asian arts like this. Most of us will find that we slap harder than we punch, and it tends to be way more satisfying to slap the focus mitt. It's a lot of fun. Watch people like Bas Rutten open hand hit, and you can really see what kind of destruction can come along with this sort of shot. When you've got a weapon-based art, a bladed art like Kali or Eskrima or Arnis or whatever you want to call it, when you see Filipino martial art as a weapon-oriented art, we certainly would prioritize then not breaking apart the hands, right? If I need to be able to hold my weapon in a weapon fight, I don't want my hand cut and I don't want it busted. I want to be able to hang on to that weapon. So typically what you see them do in the art is to slap whenever possible, if only for that reason. And there's plenty of reasons, but that's a good one, right? To help maintain the integrity of the hand itself. So we'd slap the ear and hit, or slap and sandwich for a hit. So we put that on the pad, 1, 2. We allow him to pop this pad up facing the middle, here like this, and now I can slap the pad, then cross, hook, and cross. So that full series is 1, 2, slap, cross, hook, cross. Our primary example that we gave as a thing to add on to this gunting was the Rhino Seiko, so we'll try that one. So he's going to start out the same way, feeding the jab, sliding this pad onto place on his bicep. Now he can go from here to here so that it effectively just slides closer down, and it's right back of the hand right here in the junction between shoulder and pec. So it's not only on the pec or only on the arm, it's kind of right in the middle. That allows me to go from there into here like this. So 1, 2, 3, here like this. Then cross across, bat, bat, bat. Catch, backhand gunting, rhino, cross, hook, and cross. So another solution to trying to hold this in multiple positions like that so that you don't get your arm injured is to use the knee pad. So I use volleyball knee pads. They tend to have a really thick set of padding on them in the front. And you could use maybe a thin and a slightly bigger layer or something like that. And you'll find what you're comfortable with. Just taking the shot on the arm, you know, if it lands correctly, then you really shouldn't be able to use that arm as well as you like. So it helps me get a few extra reps in for him as the holder. So then trying this out with the bicep pad, I throw my jab and my cross, bang, hits right on the money. And 1, 2, bat, bat, bat. Now we also added in the slap, so that's bringing my left pad into play. So I jab, I go here and I fire that, or hold that one up so he can fire down the middle, cross across. So this is a good solution for practicing this one. That means I'm going to feed jab. When I throw my rear straight hand, I'm just going to let this come right here. So it goes 1 and 2 like that. So he can now hit the bicep and then fold right into this elbow pad. So that will be jab, he catches, cross, I let him go here, and then he folds that elbow in, hit, cross across. Okay, so that's it for this round. Thank you, Keith, for helping out. I appreciate it, man. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments or to message us, and we'll address them in the comments below or in a future video. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, etc. But backhand gunting for me is just, for whatever it's worth, is one of my go-to techniques. I absolutely love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's surprisingly versatile. And as a skill development, you know, put in your reps, give it its due, see if it works for you. Go back to it later if it doesn't, you know. But just as a training in how to exchange your hands in different ways, it's actually really versatile when you see it as a attribute development tool as opposed to just a singular technique. So again, take your time with it, give it its due, see what it does for you, see how it pops up in other areas of your training. Just kind of let that program run in the back of your mind. You may notice this shape or similar ones that pop up in other areas of your own art or in this art as well. So thanks for watching, appreciate it. Hope you had a good time.